Tonglen is very effective for dealing with difficult situations. But I write it on the board because when I was teaching, often I didn't write it on the board. And one day I had these two American guys come up to me and say, really like that meditation. Oh, which one? You know, the Tom and Len. Tom and Len? Yeah, you know, the breathe it in, breathe it. Tonglen. They'd Americanized it and it had become Tom and Len. So it's Tibetan, Tonglen, meaning giving and taking. Literally giving and taking, which is a secret. You're not supposed to do this practice without being taught how to do this practice. So it's a secret. In the title is the secret because it's actually taking and giving. But the title is giving and taking. This is how the Tibetans are. Everything was, anything a bit complicated, keep it secret. It's an oral tradition, and then we'll pass it on in the oral tradition. So this is very powerful, and you need to know how to do it properly. Not just read a book and think you know how to do it, because there's so much advantage to it. So, Tonglen counteracts your self-cherishing. From beginningless time, what have we had? Self-cherishing. On the basis of self-grasping. Okay? It is quite a nice seat, isn't it? This self-grasping is grasping onto something that doesn't exist. You're grasping onto something that doesn't exist. It's an illusion. And that's what Buddhism calls ignorance, emptiness, non-inherent existence, la 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 la. All these words. What it's referring to when we're talking about human being and this practice, we're talking about the non-existence of the self. And yet, the self appears to exist. Now, in psychology, they would use the word ego. Lama Yeshe brought the word ego into Buddhism probably in the 70s because it was realized that when the Lamas were saying self-grasping, self-cherishing, Westerners didn't really understand the concept of selflessness. Okay? So they changed the word to ego-grasping and ego-cherishing. But really, it means self-grasping, self-cherishing. So the self is like a rainbow that appears because of causes and conditions. If you think about the rainbow out there, because of causes and conditions, you have to have the eye organ, eye consciousness, feeding the information to the brain, which gives the information to the mind. Then out there, you have to have the conditions, the water drops, the sun at the certain angle, and then there's an appearance of color. Okay? Does the rainbow inherently exist? As intelligent people, you would immediately say, of course not. It exists because of causes and conditions. Right? If the sun goes behind the clouds, immediately the rainbow ceases to exist. So this is a good example of self-grasping, because when we're emotional, the self appears, and when we're not emotional, when we're calm, peaceful, the mind goes back to its nature, the self disappears. You just sit there. You're just peaceful. But when you get emotional, the self appears, We grasp onto that self, thinking it is existent, because I feel it. It's true. I grasp onto it mentally, and because I grasp onto it mentally, then I cherish it. And to cherish means at the cost of anything else. I'm the most important there is. So self-cherishing is this self-reference. I want in order to be happy. I don't want in order to be happy. So this is the extreme mind. We're talking about the extreme mind. Yeah? Are we okay up till now? Or have I lost you? Lost anybody? Okay. We start with self-cherishing. Something doesn't exist, but we think it exists, and we think it exists from beginningless time. Because we think it exists from beginningless time, we've put so many imprints on our mind stream that it exists, that then when something appears because of emotion, we say, aha, that's me, that's I exist. Okay? What exists, if you can see that, merely labeled I. Merely labeled I. The I, this one, doesn't really exist. The merely labeled I, the empty I, is labeled on the base. Without the base, there is no I. I'm making it simple. Base, the human body. Without the base, there is no I. Without the cup, there's no cup. Without the clock, there's no clock. You know, so you have to have a base. You put the correct label according to convention, and then we say I, me, mine, and we build up a persona, don't we, of what we think exists. So, how are we going to counteract this self-grasping, self-cherishing if it's been going on from beginningless time? A long, long time. Particularly the self-cherishing that promotes killing, stealing, lying, sexual misconduct, anger, hatred, ignorance, etc., etc. How are we going to counteract this self-cherishing? What would be the antidote for it? Instead of self-cherishing, other cherishing. Okay? Simple, isn't it? Nothing complicated. Just instead of self-cherishing, other cherishing. How are we going to train this intractable, difficult mind that from beginningless time has been self-cherishing to now cherish the other? You've got to do it through meditation. You have to know the logic of it, and then you have to be able to do it through meditation. Not just knowing the logic is not enough. Yes, I really should cherish others, but how? But why? But when? And we go back around in the circle. We keep going back into the loop. Down the rabbit hole, isn't it? Down the rabbit hole. So you get lost down the rabbit hole and you come out the rabbit hole and you think, okay, back to self-cherishing. And then, yes, I should do other cherishing. And it never happens. As a project, it never happens. So, Tonglen gives you a practice that you can do that actually trains your mind into cherishing others, caring for them, cherishing them, having compassion for them, having love, in this simple meditation, I think. So the antidote to self-cherishing, other cherishing. So the meditation is Buddha potential. Our mind has Buddha potential. What stops us from experiencing that Buddha potential or clear light nature of the mind, what stops us from experiencing it? All the karmic imprints from beginningless time, created from self-grasping and self-cherishing. Okay? We all right? All the negative imprints from beginningless time, created from self-grasping, self-cherishing. Wouldn't you like to remove them? because it's obscuring your ability to have love and compassion for others. Then we come to, but how? So I'm going to draw you a diagram. My diagrams are quite famous worldwide. People have thought of publishing them, but I refused. It's something like Picasso, I think. Don't be shocked. This is your Buddha potential. It's not petrol. It's your Buddha potential. And then, I know it looks like a fried egg, but it's very difficult to draw these things. I can't be bothered going for the next half an hour, but if you imagine your Buddha potential in the visualization is like a sphere of white energy with the potential of all compassion, all love, all wisdom, whatever you'd like to have. The potential is there, but what's stopping that potential is what obscures that potential. The negative karma, the imprints from beginningless time, which came from self-grasping, self-cherishing. In order to remove the self-grasping and self-cherishing, we need to do a radical practice. We need to do something different. So, understanding this, that the Buddha potential is being obscured by these karmic imprints, we're going to breathe in the blackness as if you're breathing in black smoke. And you're going to breathe it down into your chest area where you have black smoke, negative imprints from beginningless time. And with each breath, these negative imprints at your chest area are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And there's a storm, thunder and lightning. Better if you have a storm because it's more real. I think I can sit now. So, we've got the thunder and lightning going on. And the practice that we're going to do is just visualizing yourself in front of yourself, and you're taking away your negativity from yourself. This will make it easy for you to practice before you start practicing with others. Because once you start practicing with others, there's a challenge and there could be a resistance. So in order to train, we just start with ourselves. You're going to visualize yourself in front of yourself, black cloud of smoke, this Buddha potential in the middle, white ball of energy. I think to start, you can just think of one quality. Today we can think of compassion, right? So just compassion. I don't want you to suffer. So that white ball of energy contains compassion, but it's blocked, it's obscured by the negative karmas from beginningless time. Same in my chest area. I'm the visualizer. I'm the one doing the practice. So I have that same black smoke, white ball of energy, compassion in front of me, white ball of energy obscured by black smoke. With each breath, I'm thinking, give it to me. With that thought of give me the suffering. What's negative karma? The cause of suffering, right? So give me the suffering. What's that? Compassion. So with each breath, I'm generating compassion. I'm putting imprints on my mind stream of compassion. Give it to me. Give it to me. I know what to do about it. And this is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. In front of you, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. When you've taken away all of the black smoke from in front of you, what's revealed is that Buddha potential, that ball of compassion. That last breath creates an explosion, and all that blackness goes out into the universe. So you can think it goes into a black hole, it disappears into a black hole. Or if you're Buddhist, Yama, the Lord of Death, takes the negativity, because Yama likes it. It's Yama's food. Or Dorjikadra. You know Dorjikadra? Sort of looks similar to Yama with fangs. It's a purification practice of doing sesame seeds. No, it's a Buddha with a very big mouth, and you visualize putting the sesame seeds into the mouth and burning up the negativities. Kadro, yeah. So Mahamudra, they have an actual statue that you can use for this practice of putting the sesame seeds in. We usually do it at the end of retreats when there's Medicine Buddha or Tara or something like that. So, if you feel uncomfortable about the negativities just going out into the universe and you're Buddhist, you can visualize Yama or Dorjikadro taking on this negativity. White ball of energy in front, white ball of energy in you, the meditator, and then from your heart, your white ball of energy, you offer compassion to your mirror image. So you're offering to the person in front of you your mirror image, who becomes full of compassion. So this is the giving. And they transform into light and into compassion. Every pore of their body, every organ, everything transforms into light and compassion, so that they become compassion. Once they've transformed into compassion, then that compassion comes back to you, to your light in your heart, and then you as the meditator also become full of light and full of compassion. So usually you would think all qualities, giving all qualities, and then all qualities come back. But I think in the beginning, just for training, you can think compassion, or giving love, or giving patience, whatever it is that makes you feel enthusiastic, or giving healing qualities. It's up to you. So, to start, visualize you. Black cloud of smoke, Buddha potential in the middle, the meditator, black cloud of smoke, Buddha potential in the middle. What is that Buddha potential for you? What's that one quality that you want to offer? Be clear about that before you start. Then, once you start with the breath, you're breathing it in. That suffering, cause of suffering, you're breathing it in. But you know that it's not the ultimate thing to do, because you're going to breathe it in and then remove it. You're going to destroy it. What's left is that white ball of energy, and then you give from your heart light to the other person, your mirror image, and then they fill with that quality, and then it comes back to you. So this is not the traditional way that the Tibetans do it. How they do it is all with the breath. And for me, it becomes incredibly complicated, because from the other person, from their right nostril, the black breath comes to your left nostril, goes into your heart area, becomes white, comes out of your right nostril and goes into their left nostril, which becomes black and comes back to you, and you transform into white, and it sort of goes round in a circle. So what happens to me is I become incredibly confused and it all becomes grey. So for a long, long time, I've been teaching this other method, which is just breathe it in. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it explodes. And then all the negative energy is gone. And then only the positive energy. And then you offer it. So this is working with love and compassion. Compassion, I don't want you to suffer, and love, I want you to be happy. So the meditation develops those two qualities. Any questions? Surprising.
A good question. So it's the same, the obscurations which were taken from the art in front of us.
Yeah.
Are exactly the same obscurations that we have, or we don't need to worry about whether
Don't think about it. Just think negative imprints. Because this is only how to do it. But then the next stage is you'll do it for somebody. Then you won't have that mirror image. You won't have that sameness. You'll do it for your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, whoever you want to do it for. And then you start to do it for more people. So you start to build up the number of people you can do it for. And so from many people, you're breathing it in. And then to many people, you give it back.
And what exactly triggers so it's the explosion of the bald black hair that
Yes.
explodes?
Yes.
What exactly triggers the explosion?
The last breath of the black that you're breathing in. So when you see in your mind's eye, this is the end of the black in front of you, then that triggers the explosion. Of course, it's just psychological. It's just happening in your head. The difficulty is when there's a group. I can't guess when each person's going to explode. So usually what I say is, when I feel like the time's going, now 3 more breaths and then the explosion happens. But if the explosion's already happened, okay, fine. You just go on with your meditation. And then the other thing is, what happens to those of you who have very strong grasping and cannot explode? There are people like this. So you breathe in, the black is bigger, bigger, bigger. You're saying explode, explode. It won't explode because you're grasping onto the negativity. Then you're in big trouble, because not only did you have the suffering from before, now you've got more suffering. Thank you, Buddhism. So now what you need is a cartoon character from your childhood. I like the Mexican mouse with the big hat. Arriba, arriba. Because I knew the lady in Mexico who was the voice for the Mexican mouse. And quite an extraordinary woman who went alone to Hollywood, no English, and they said, "Can you do a voice?" And she said, "Why not?" And she became the Mexican mouse. But the Mexican mouse, or the Roadrunner and the coyote, bleep bleep, and the coyote is always trying to blow up the other one. So what you need is a cartoon character, because you need to lighten up. You've got very heavy and serious in this practice, and so that you can't explode. You need to lighten up. The cartoon character helps you to lighten up. You bring in dynamite. So the cartoon character brings in the dynamite, puts it in all this black cloud, wires it up, takes it out to the box, wires it up, lifts it, and explodes it. That usually works. Yeah. Except you don't blow up, just the negativity blows up. But, there are certain people that they find they just can't explode, and then when they bring in the cartoon character, they find it helps. It works. Okay? Any questions? Yeah. They just become light in front of you. You can still see them, but their body's made of light. And then all that light, that energy from their heart chakra comes to you. You become light. And if you were doing it for more people, then it would be from many people. The light would come to you. But in this case, it's only one. But if you're doing it for 5 people, the light goes to 5. Then from 5, they become light, and then they come back to you. So a lot of positive energy from the many that you've done it for, then will come back to you. So the more people you visualize, the stronger and the more powerful it becomes. But I suggest just work with it for a few meditations or a week or 2 until you feel confident about it, and then you can start working with other people. So you can do it that way on the cushion, which is very good for training. The other way is the supermarket meditation. If you go to supermarkets, or the market meditation, or whatever you want to think, or the city meditation, where you see suffering, you don't know what to do about it, you breathe it in, you explode your self-cherishing, and you give back happiness. Just like that. You know the magnesium flash that used to happen with the tripod? Don't pretend you're too young to know what I'm talking about. In the old days, we used to have this long time ago, wasn't it? Maybe 100 years ago. This tripod with the magnesium on the top for flash photography. And it would be like an instant whoosh. You want the instant whoosh, not breathe it in, breathe it in, breathe it in. But just you breathe in the negativity, it explodes, give back happiness, walk on. So you can do that in the supermarket, around the city, in the office where you see somebody suffering. You don't know what to do, but this is something that you can do. It takes away that feeling of powerlessness, of inability to help others. And often it does work, it does happen, that some change happens. Yeah, yeah. So the animals who are suffering, have pain, breathe in their suffering and pain, give back happiness. Yeah. The main thing is it's changing your mind. It's also changing your resistance to the suffering that you're perceiving. Because when you see suffering, you can get tense. You can do this. So then being willing to breathe in the suffering psychologically helps you to work with the suffering. Any other? You can do it with your mother. Before your mother comes, you can do it with your mother, and then it breaks down the resistance. If there's any feeling of something, it breaks it down so that we can be more open instead of more closed. Okay, we're going to do it. I hope Nelson is ready for all that negative energy that's going to go down the valley, because you're powerful people. She's running out the door. Hello? We thought you were leaving. Sounds too much for me. I'm off. I don't like the idea of this explosion business. We're in the explosion business. You want my tissue? You have? You want? Be clear about your motivation. Be clear about the quality that you want to offer. Okay? Is it compassion? Is it love? Patience? Tolerance? Etc. There's many qualities. So be clear that once you've removed all the negative, what is it you're giving? What are you giving to the other? And then what are you receiving? So I'll give you a couple of minutes to get clear about that, and then we'll start. We can make the motivation on this special day to become enlightened in order to benefit all sentient beings. In order to do that, I need to remove my karma and delusion and actualize all positive qualities. So in order to do that, we're doing the Tonglen meditation, taking and giving. And then we take 3 deep breaths. Breathe all the way down into the abdomen. Breathing in peace, breathing out thoughts. And then out of emptiness in the space in front of you appears your mirror image, sitting just like you, peacefully, quietly, about one body length in front of you. In your mind's eye, in your chest area, you become aware of this white ball of energy containing a positive quality. But what obscures it is all the karmic imprints from beginningless time in the form of black smoke. So that black smoke surrounds the white ball of energy. And in your mirror image, it's the same. The white ball of energy with the positive quality obscured by the black smoke. And you understand that that black smoke, all those imprints, are created by self-grasping, self-cherishing from beginningless time. So I must counteract the self-cherishing mind. In order to do that, I need to take the suffering that I see in front of me. So with each breath, as you breathe in, you take a little of that black smoke and you breathe it down into your chest area. So as that negative energy joins with the negative energy, it creates a storm, thunder and lightning. with each breath. Take a little of the suffering, the causes of the suffering, in the form of the black smoke from in front of you. And the black smoke in your chest area is gradually getting bigger and bigger. Keep taking away the black smoke slowly. And each time you breathe it in, you think, give it to me. Creating the cause of compassion. Continuing to breathe in the black smoke until the very last is breathed in, which creates an explosion. So if the explosion hasn't already happened, Take 3 more breaths. And on the third breath, all that black smoke from your chest area goes out to Yama or to the universe, into a black hole where it's absorbed, transformed. What's left is your positive potential or your Buddha potential. So from that white ball of energy in your chest area, you offer light and one quality to your mirror image. The light is like a laser beam, clear white light, containing that one quality you want to offer. And as your mirror image absorbs the white light and the quality, it transforms into light. So all the organs and the blood, bones, everything transforms into light and quality. Once your mirror image is transformed into light and quality, then that same light comes back to you, to your heart area. You absorb the light, your body becomes light, and you take on that positive quality. Once your body is transformed into light and quality, then feel how light your body is, no longer solid and real. Also, there's no negativity because your body and mind are full of positive quality, whatever that quality is. And then you slowly bring your awareness back to the room you're sitting in, the cushion you're sitting on, the meditation we've just been doing. In your own time, please finish your meditation. Any problem? Any no explosion? You. You didn't explode?
It was like,
Don't disappoint me.
no, it was like popping a balloon.
Mm.
It was like a really slow deflate.
Oh,
Yeah, it was completely not what I was expecting.
sounds more like gas.
Yeah, and I was like, what's that about?
Gas.
So I was kind of trying to figure out, and I think maybe there's just like lots and lots and lots of obscurations, because it was interesting when I tried to take the last obscuration,
Mm.
myself didn't want to give me the last obscuration. And
Oh.
it was like, so I was like, well, why are you holding on to it?
Yeah.
And I said, because I need an obscuration in order to be able to relate to other people,
Oh.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
So I did persuade myself to give me that last one.
I'll take you for lunch if you give me that last obscuration.
This was interesting. And I was like, maybe I've just got like heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps of obscurations that I'm purifying this lifetime.
Haven't we all? But I think it's also about the grasping. That with the grasping, for some reason, we seem to want to hold on to the obscurations. And so it's an interesting experiment of, do we really want to become enlightened, or are we sort of cheating ourselves?
Why would you want to hold on to the obscurations though?
I think we don't fully believe on our potential to become enlightened, that we resist enlightenment.
No, but I was surprised how nice I was when I sat in front of myself. It actually made me cry. I was like, oh my god, actually I'm a really nice person.
But you held on to something.
I did.
But you don't need that, because as a Buddha, you'll have memory. You'll have omniscience. And with that omniscience, you will know what suffering is. You won't need to have the suffering.
Probably that fear. It is probably that fear of not being able to relate, because I know I've contemplated that with my own kids. It's like, I think I'm sure it does make me hold back a little bit, because I want to retain that relatability. I don't want to become unrelatable for my own children.
Sure. That's probably part of it, that you want to be a groovy mum.
Well, it would be selfish of me to be unrelated to the community.
Yeah. So that accounts for the black leather and the motorbike. Any other? Yeah.
I haven't done a huge amount of Tonglen meditation, but every time I do over 10 years, I find it difficult to see the smoke and wispy moving. It always looks to me like breathable oil.
Oh.
And it feels just viscerally very disgusting.
Yeah.
It makes me shudder.
Yeah. It would be very difficult.
I have to say, come on.
Let's get on with this, David.
I suppose I've set up I don't think it's oil.
Yes.
The first thing that comes to me is it's like,
That would be very difficult. That's why we say smoke, because even though the smoke is difficult, it's breathable. But the oil, it must.
Oil's flattering, but you can breathable oil.
Yeah.
You can get it. It doesn't choke, but it's
Gosh.
viscous and smoky.
Gosh. And you can't transform it into another. Yeah. I would prefer smoke, I think. Yes. Yes. Wow. Gracie? I don't know, but it's in the text. So I keep using the word. To obscure means to hide. So the obscurations, they're hiding the potential. These black imprints from beginningless time, hiding the imprints of positive, whatever it is, the love, the compassion, the patience, the kindness, etc. If there's 84,000 illusions, there must be 84,000 positive things, right? You must have the opposite. So whatever you're thinking of as positive, why does it not manifest? Why does it not come out? We have moments of it, don't we? Moments of, aha, I get it. And then the clouds close again. So we have this potential, but what's surrounding it is this blackness. And that's what we call obscuration, to obscure, to hide. And then once you've removed that obscuration, there's nothing hidden anymore. And so the potential can become the actuality, can be actualized. Then if you do it for more, like I said, you can do for 5, 10, 15, all society, then it goes out to all of them. You're taking all of their suffering, give all happiness. And then from all of them transforming, countless beings transforming, it comes back to you. So countless light beams coming from countless directions, coming back to you. So then just working with the limitations that your mind provides, where your mind says, oh, I can only do this much, but then you get a bit more, bit more, bit more. One student of mine, he did it for his brother because he was angry with his brother, that his brother had disappeared. And so he asked me what practice to do, and he did Tonglen every single day for his brother. His brother had been gone for about 10 years, and they knew his brother was married with children, but didn't know where he was, what he was doing. And so after about 6 months of doing it for his brother, and the father had developed cancer, so they really wanted to contact the brother and tell him, but they couldn't because they didn't know where he was. The brother called. And instead of being angry, he said, because I've been doing Tonglen, I was able to say, oh, hi, how are you? Where are you? What are you doing? And he said, then the brother came back home and the whole relationship between them changed. So I think it's really important when you have a difficult relationship with somebody that you deal with it through Tonglen, because otherwise the ego builds up this negativity and then the resistance to the healing. You want the healing, but somehow you're not creating healing. You're creating more suffering and more problems by the way you're thinking. Then if somebody's ill, sick in hospital, whatever they're experiencing that's a problem, think of taking it on and then removing it giving back health, giving back healing. I had one scientist, talking about scientists, I told you I had 7 in one class. Well, this lady was one of them, and she was a cancer specialist. So she was experimenting with rats and things like that in Kathmandu, actually. So she came up to Kopan, and so on that course there were 7 scientists, and she was in the front, and I was teaching, and then we were doing a meditation, and then in the meditation I could see her, but looked like she had a terrible headache. You know how because my mother used to have migraines, I recognize how it looks. So it looked like she had a really bad headache. And I wanted to do something for her, but I couldn't stop. I couldn't give her pills or anything like that. So I thought, well, the only thing I can do is Tonglen. So I breathed in the suffering and I gave back happiness. And I saw her face completely change. So afterwards, after lunch, she said to me, I had a terrible headache. What did you do? And I said, well, nothing really, you know. And she said, no, I want to know what this is. Because she said, I felt like a vacuum cleaner was sucking the headache out of me, and suddenly I felt really happy. I want to know what this is. So I said, well, it's Tonglen. And she said, okay, sign me up. I'm a Buddhist now. So she became Buddhist at the end of the course. She changed her job because she couldn't work with rats anymore. She didn't want to kill them anymore. So she went to Singapore, and she's still working on computer modeling for cures for cancer. And I met her in somewhere in the world, somewhere bizarre like Helsinki, where she was visiting. And she's still around. It's been about 12, 14 years. So sometimes it works, but you don't do it because it works on the other person. Because if you do and it doesn't, you'll give up. It works on you. It changes your mind. But sometimes it helps the other person. And then that's the cream, the icing on the cake, right? But don't do it because of them. Do it because it's good for you to change your self-grasping, self-cherishing. Any others? That was this side of the room. This side of the room? Dull. Sad. Dull. The intelligent side of the room? My little scientist? Speechless. Oh, here we go. I shouldn't have asked. I should have gone while the going was good. Yeah? Yeah. You can move over here. Tell me. Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. You have a convoluted mind, isn't it? Convoluted. Look that up. Not just obscured, but convoluted. Because you have your. I know, but it's okay. Gradually, we're pulling you out of the rabbit hole. You have all this scientific experience. So, of course, your experience of science is coming into Buddhism and you're sort of explaining it in your way, right? Which is very interesting. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
and you want compassion.
Yes.
You want to feel it and experience it in that moment, or is it just
Just the idea. Of course, if you can feel it, it would be stronger. But we'd be asking a lot of you in that time, because there's a lot going on, isn't there? With all this breathing it in, exploding it, giving this back. So you're giving it back the idea of light, which is fairly easy, like a laser beam, but also the idea of compassion. I don't want you to suffer. But if you can generate that feeling in your heart that you're giving compassion, that would be even more powerful. But I think it's asking a lot. So at least just the light, the idea of compassion, I don't want you to suffer, or the idea of love, I want you to be happy, or if it's an angry person, patience, tolerance, if it's a miserly person, generosity, openness, if it's a jealous person, being satisfied, but also having rejoicing. So you can tailor it to the person if you want to, or you can just think all positive qualities going to them, and then all positive qualities coming back. Depends which way your mind works. You should do it that way, and then it will have more meaning than you just do it the way everybody else is doing it. Okay? The sun's shining. Fish and chips.
My little bit of argument myself because of it was when I'm taking the black smoke out from my image,
Yes.
do I, just not involving, do I draw it out from their chest or imagine it coming out through their lungs into my lungs? What does it matter?
Which way do you want to do it? Which way instinctively?
I'm easy actually dragging it out through there, so it makes more sense to me, go where it come up.
Do it that way. You could do it this way, or you could do it this way, But I think which way instinctively works for you, then the visualization is going to be good. Whereas if you try to manipulate too much, it shouldn't be doing that way, it should be coming this way, it becomes too much. The main thing is you're taking it. You're willing to take it. You're willing to take it on and work with this negativity, where in the past you would have said, take my negativity and give me the happiness. Now you're saying, give me the suffering and I give you the happiness. So that's the antidote. Great. That'll be $10 extra. Anybody who's feeling better? Jen wants to know. There will be a bill. Ka-ching, ka-ching. So, business is business. What can I say? We've got to fundraise for the prayer wheel. Only 300,000 to go. Shall I write the mantra on the board? Yeah? So, have you talked about the changes that are happening? So, I'll write the mantra on the board, then I'll go, then you can talk about, and tomorrow, the change. Yeah? Okay. So, the mantra that you'll be using tonight is